How would you define or encapsulate the term Viksit Bharat?
Really easy. It's a literal translation of a developed nation.
So, when you say the term cultural revival, what exactly comes under it? Once you mentioned, of course, a revival of a lot of temples, corridors, etc.
It's not only limited to religion.
The world and especially maybe other countries, etc., they are a little jealous of us, right?
Removing this colonial mindset is very important because they are always jealous, but we should not be so enamored by them.
So, while doing that research, was any of your preconceived notion broken or challenged?
There were so many schemes I had no idea that these existed. So first it was just that.
We as individuals, as normal citizens, how can we embrace this? What can we do about it?
I would first start by saying that Viksit Bharat will be achieved by the active participation of all citizens.
How can we make such policies or strategies which remain?
All investors or businessmen take great risks. They risk their capital, they raise debt.
In India, the mass population votes for development or for personal agenda? Like, how do you think?
I think it's showing that now, merit-based politics is working.
How do you think India is taking sustainability?
We're a developing country trying to become a developed country.
Hello and welcome everyone to POV Unpopular, where ideas, insights and critical perspectives come alive. I am your host Nupur, and today I have a visionary guest in the studio with me. His name is Aditya Pittie. He is an entrepreneur, an angel investor, a policy thought leader and author of this amazing, remarkable book, Viksit Bharat at 2047. Aditya's book is a data-driven blueprint for India's transformation into a fully developed, globally influential nation by its centenary in 2047 with a projected economy of around $30 trillion. This book deep dives into everything from economic reforms to digital innovation and from environment resilience to inclusive growth. So today we are going to cover India's remarkable journey from 1947 till 2047. We'll ask him what drives us forward and what drags us still behind. We'll ask him what can we as laymen, as normal citizens, as entrepreneurs, as policymakers do so as to contribute to this vision and mission of India. And we'll ask him how can we as normal citizens or policymakers or entrepreneurs contribute to this vision and mission of India developing into a fully developed, globally influential nation. So anyone who knows me knows that I like to talk about a lot of topics, but the topic that I feel really very deeply and passionate about is India or Bharat. So together with Aditya Pittie today, let's drive and let's draw a map to 2047 together. So hello and good evening Aditya sir. First of all, how are you?
I'm really well and thank you for having me here. Good evening, Nupurji.
Thank you so much for coming, for joining us today. Okay, how's Delhi treating you?
Delhi is good. There's just been too much traffic, I think, with the rains and a lot of other things. So I think just the traffic bothers me.
Okay.
Otherwise, I love Delhi.
Okay, all right. So nice to hear that. Okay, so now let's begin the podcast. And our today's podcast is going to about India, Bharat, and especially Viksit Bharat, India's remarkable journey over the years and what lies ahead for us. So that's the major agenda for the podcast.
Right.
Okay. But before we begin with that, I think the first question which comes to my mind when I hear the word Viksit Bharat at 2047, how would you define or encapsulate the term Viksit Bharat, let's say in one sentence, and why would you do that?
So, one sentence is really easy. It's a literal translation of a developed nation.
Okay.
But if I could get a couple of more lines,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Go for it.
explain this a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, in typically Western viewpoint of the developed countries, the developed nation is a economic metric, that World Bank and IMF says, which is about achieving a certain per capita income.
Right.
So that's what is the typical definition. What I liked about our vision of Viksit Bharat, which was first, explained by the Honorable Prime Minister, is he said, we are looking for something beyond the typical metrics of only per capita income.
Okay.
That is for granted, we have to achieve that. But he said, can we do it by having a minimum quality and standard of living for all citizens? Can we do it while having, respect for our culture and pride in our culture?
Right.
We'll have this rapid industrialization, but can it be done while protecting the environment and in a sustainable manner?
Right.
So I think this holistic vision of Viksit Bharat that he articulated is something that really resonates with me.
Okay.
And in that, what I especially like, Nupurji, is, he's used the word Antyodaya, which is the philosophy of Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay ji, which literally translates to the upliftment of the last man.
Oh, okay.
So, now, as you know, with the toilets and tap water and gas connections, etc., I would say youth saturation has already happened in India. But now, the work is happening that can we have 100% saturation? So why should even the last man be left behind?
Right.
Because, to reach a per capita income, it's after all an average. So are we really a developed nation if there is an average is high, but it's a big income disparity? So
Right.
this vision is a little different from that of traditional Western viewpoint.
All right. Okay. So I think you very well summarized the term Viksit Bharat for us. Okay. And so moving on to the next question, if I talk about this book, this remarkable book that you have written, Viksit Bharat, India 2047. In this book, you have touched upon various things, various sectors. Let's see, what were the three sectors or fields which were most difficult for you to research on, and was there any very surprising data which came out of those sectors?
I think some of the sectors that are not talked about, but I would think that more than a sector, I think it's a facet of India's development. So, things I've talked about, cultural revival.
Okay.
It's a bit opaque. It's not something that you can directly, because it's not really a sector. So, but I think this is important as part of the vision. So, to find data about how, cultural revival is happening, because we are talking of Vikas bhi, Virasat bhi, things like that. So, to talk about a lot of these, religious corridors that are being developed.
All right.
So, thoda this data is a bit tough to, really find out and also study the impact of some of these things.
Right.
So, those kind of things were a little more difficult.
Okay.
But I still think it's important. Also, social development I've spoken about. So, some of the schemes there of how we are trying to have an upliftment of all citizens and, how we are driving impact there.
So when you say the term cultural revival, what exactly comes under it? Once you mentioned, of course, a revival of a lot of temples, corridors, etc. What exactly comes under cultural?
I think it's a, kind of a pride in our ancient civilization and culture. It's not only limited to religion, because we've had a kind of our civilization is one of the oldest and greatest. People don't realize, greatest of scientific and mathematical discoveries happened in India. And later, kind of spoken about from the West. Like yoga is also Indian, but it's coming somehow to us back from the West, whether it's a number zero, a lot of scientific discoveries, even I would think medicine. In our ancient culture, some of the work that has happened and which is documented in our ancient texts shows what an advanced level of, even medical science we had. So I think it's important to go to that because there's a lot of important knowledge and valuable knowledge still there. And that along with modern, science and technology, I think gives us a huge leverage and advantage compared to other countries. So we should definitely be aware of some of these, ancient learnings and our civilizational knowledge.
Right, right. So in a way, like holding on to from where we come from and also embracing the modernity and modern techniques, everything. That's cultural revival for
I
us.
think so. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's said that if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going.
Hmm.
So I think it's important to know that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, many people say, like, we've now reached, as we are doing this podcast, we are already the fourth largest economy
Yes.
in the world.
Hmm.
So many people, especially Western viewpoints, is like, oh, they are trying to reach, higher, all that.
Yeah.
But sometimes I counter it by saying we are not trying to reach anything new.
Hmm.
India was the Sone ki Chidiya
Hmm.
and the largest, GDP and the most prosperous, nation, and I mean, the most prosperous country
Hmm.
for the longest time
Hmm.
in ancient times.
Hmm.
So I keep saying that we are just trying to, recapture
Hmm.
what we already were.
Correct, correct. Do you think while doing this, while climbing up the ladder again, the world and especially maybe other countries, etc., they are a little jealous of us right now? Do you have that feeling?
I think
In
for
a way?
sure.
Yeah.
That's why, some of the things that we've talked about
Hmm.
is also what Prime Minister said, that,
Hmm.
removing this colonial mindset
Hmm.
is very important, because, they are always jealous, but we should not be so enamored by them.
Hmm.
Let's take pride in ourselves
Right, right.
and ignore what is being spoken about, and, work hard to reach our own goals.
Right, right, right. All right. So while I'm sure there must be a lot of research that must have gone while writing this book. So while doing that research, was any of your preconceived notion broken or challenged? Like something that even you didn't thought is happening, you figured it out.
I think a lot, Nupurji,
Okay.
because, as I delved into various sectors
Hmm.
and looking at the various schemes and initiatives of the government,
Hmm.
I first of all was shocked. There were so many schemes, I had no idea
Hmm.
that these existed. So, first, it was just that.
All right. Hmm.
It's just so much happening, one is unaware.
Hmm.
So, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Secondly, within some of these schemes and initiatives, the numbers are just massive because of our large population and the scale with which the government is working.
Hmm.
Even as an Indian citizen, I find the numbers very, very surprising.
Okay.
And for Westerners, I travel around the world, I meet a lot of people from business, education backgrounds. For them, though, it's shocking. So I'm using the word surprising for myself.
Hmm.
They just can't understand. They literally think we've written 2 or 3 zeros extra, not just 1 0.
Hmm.
Maybe me, as certain numbers I read, like, have I read that correctly? Or maybe it's 1 0 extra.
Hmm.
But for many of the Western viewpoint, they can't understand this scale.
Right. And I
With
think not just Westerners, even anyone, even one of us, when we'll read the book or we'll read the data, we'll be like, okay, is this really
yeah,
happening?
it's shocking.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one
Okay.
of the numbers that
Hmm.
very difficult. I would have to see my notes, so I won't really look at it to tell you. But if you talk about the UPI transactions,
Hmm.
number of UPI transactions in a month
Hmm.
and the value of that, it is staggering. Means most people would get just absolutely shocked.
Wow. Hmm.
I think if I'm not mistaken, 40% of digital payments globally are now moving in India.
Wow.
We are doing it, but that
Hmm.
number, those two numbers are so large,
Hmm.
it's shocking
Shocking.
and growing.
Yeah, and I you just remembered while reading this book also, I think you've mentioned it somewhere that while writing also the speed with which new policies and new strategies are coming up, you'll write a chapter and then something new will happen. So it was very difficult for you to keep up with that speed, right?
I'm glad you caught that, because that was one of the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
The entire process of book writing, even, takes many, many months.
Hmm.
And just before the final manuscript even went to the publisher for at an editorial level, I realized that most, if of that data,
Hmm.
was already outdated in the 8, 9 months of the process of
Wow.
writing. So I had to I kind of gave it a refresh once. But I think even after the editorial, kind of 2 or 3 months elapsed in that, and the book has come now been published, it's definitely dated. And I've mentioned that in my preface and, told people that. So, once the book comes out, much of this data will already be a little dated. So kindly, do your own research, update yourselves. And in one sense, it's a good thing because it's showing the speed and scale with which work and transformation is happening in India.
I mean, that's really nice. Okay, so moving on, I think something very interesting. We were talking off camera that when it comes to Viksit Bharat, if you talk about this term to any layman, any common person, one very common thing that we'll hear is कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं, right? What can we do about it? ये तो government का काम है, ये तो policy makers का काम है. I think it's very normal to hear that. So, this was one of the questions in my mind also, because let's say one of the references in the book is Panch Pran by Narendra Modi ji, which is eradicating colonial mindset, taking pride in our culture, heritage,
Right.
giving importance to unity and development. So, but we as individuals, as normal citizens, how can we embrace this? What can we do about it?
So this is a great question, and I think one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, I would first start by saying that Viksit Bharat will be achieved by the active participation of all citizens. You can't expect 50, 100 people to take all the decisions and do all the work to get us to these targets. I always tell very simply that if each one of us take one step forward, the nation will take 140 crore steps forward.
Right.
So that's one. Throughout the book, it has been a call to action, what Honorable Prime Minister called Jan Bhagidari. I'm calling it call to action, that we must all participate in nation building as per our own strengths, resources, capabilities, interests, etc. So few things, in Pach Pran, Honorable Prime Minister already mentioned a few things. What I have also written additionally in the book is people don't realize everybody is quoting the Constitution, but Constitution is not only our fundamental rights. There is a section in the Constitution, fundamental duties of citizens. So I've also just listed them out. That these are actually pretty simple things that we all citizens can just remind ourselves and do. Beyond that, Nupurji, I see a vision of small steps. I think off camera, what we were talking, I'll mention it again. Like even my personal driver of my car in Pune, I keep lecturing everybody I meet कि आपको कुछ राष्ट्र निर्माण के लिए करना है. You have to do something for nation building. So typical answer is, one, people ask what you can do, which I'm mentioning. Second, people say that, how can I do? I don't have enough resource or things like that. But I told him that if you follow traffic signals, it's very simple. We all suffer from the headaches of urban living, whether it's Noida, Gurgaon or Pune. And just imagine, instead of complaining that authorities are not doing certain things, which whatever they need to do, they should do. But if we all follow traffic signal, these would be just fantastic places to live in. So according to me, a small step like that is nation building. So I don't think anyone can say कि I don't have the resource or, to do something for the nation.
Right. What can I do? I mean, just normally walking on the road and following a signal is what exactly you can do.
If you're walking, you see a little bit of some garbage, pick it up.
Right.
They've given there's a fancy new thing called plogging. People go out into public spaces picking it up. But I'm saying that we can all be ploggers. I think it's called plogging.
Right.
If you're just walking around, kuch dikha, aap utha lijiye, that's nation building, it's Swachh Bharat, whatever terminology you may want.
Right.
But this all helps. Because we don't do it when we go ourselves to foreign countries.
Right. And
we are so mindful.
Right. Yeah. And there it's like, wow, when we go to the foreign countries and we see such things happening, we are like, wow, यहाँ तो इतनी सफाई है and everything, India में तो नहीं है. But then when we come back, we are the same person who is actually just spitting the garbage and all.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think these small mindset habit changes I'm a very positive person, Nupurji. So I keep seeing things in those lens.
Right,
Like
right.
when someone tells me it's a problem,
Hmm.
I generally don't like that word problem. I would use a word like gaps.
Hmm.
And I think then gaps provide opportunities.
Okay. So, India is a democratic nation wherein government keeps changing. So, what do you think? How can we make policies which are not as affected, let's say, when after 4 years, 5 years, a particular government has changed, someone else has come up? How can we make such policies or strategies which remain, like, which are not as affected by this shift?
No, it's a really great as well as important question. So
Hmm.
consistency of policy is very very critical.
Hmm.
I'm come from a corporate business background. All investors or businessmen take great risks. They risk their capital, they raise debt, they plan projects. These projects, etc., are planned based on certain policy, environment, and framework which exists today. We are
Hmm.
taking risks.
Hmm.
It's generating employment, all that. But if those rules change, how can anyone take decisions?
Right.
This is the reason why many investment decisions are not taken or bigger projects are not planned.
Okay.
In the private sector, many times people are worrying about these things. So the
Right.
most important is to have policy consistency.
Hmm.
Within that, it's a reality of a democratic setup
Hmm.
and electoral politics that, those change. Now, even in this book, the idea when I'm talking about all citizens, it would apply that to, everyone.
Hmm.
That you can bring certain things from your own agenda, but largely the policy direction that the nation requires and needs should be above your
True.
politics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
The other thing is one of the problems is our federal structure.
Okay.
Democratic realities are realities. Whoever wins an election will, push his own agenda. We can only hope that this larger thing is followed. The other thing is our federal structure. As the states, the constitution mandates that certain sectors and certain things are in the state's purview,
Hmm.
not the centers.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So, like local policing,
Hmm.
even health,
Hmm.
these things are all at a state level.
Right.
So again, this is a reality of our federal structure, and again, the democratic setup in India,
Hmm.
that certain states that are not aligned with center are, pursuing their own agenda.
Yeah.
But sadly, the data supports
Hmm.
that their growth, development, state deficits are very, very large.
Hmm.
So, ultimately you follow some agenda, it will show up.
Hmm.
The symptoms will show up just like in the human body.
Right.
If you do something totally unhealthy and wrong, it's
Right.
going to show up. This has shown up.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that is another problem. The third also, I think, is, at a judicial level.
Okay.
Because if, decisions are being taken that pass orders with retrospective effect, means you're backpedaling a lot of things, that also creates policy uncertainty.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Because, the government is following an agenda and has not tried to change.
Hmm.
But if judicial decisions are taken, retrospectively, etc.,
Hmm.
that creates a lot of uncertainty, which then, even the government can't do much about.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So I mean, there are a few challenges, I feel.
Yes.
Maybe there's still a little like long way to go about it so that we become sort of like change proof in terms of policies. But let's see.
Probably. And I think maybe one best thing is, again, see, I'm now trying to, I just thought of this.
Positive.
I'm thinking of some opportunity within this so-called problem.
Yeah.
That, see, ultimately we're a democracy.
Yeah.
So I think the more our average citizen gets, awareness grows and knowledge grows, then, he'll also try and elect the person who's standing for elections or the political party that would best suit, pro-development, pro-nation building agendas.
Right.
So
Right.
we
Right.
do have that power.
Right.
Theoretically.
Uh-huh.
But I think as the more the citizenry gets aware and knowledge levels go up, they have to understand that, don't kind of give your vote for short-term goals. You have to think long-term for nation building, because your children and your children's children will benefit.
Will benefit. Do you think in India the mass population votes for development or for personal agenda? Like, how do you think it
I
happens?
personally think it has changed
Okay.
largely. The fact that the BJP has won a third term in government, and the faith that people have on the Honorable Prime Minister, I think that's showing that now, merit-based politics is working. Developmental politics, wins votes. Merit wins vote for sure. Obviously, there'll be always pockets, but largely this seems to be there. And I think people like you are very important as well. Because really, honestly, people are consuming real-time, news and information, not only relying on papers or, the mass media, mainstream media, but people like you, I think, are doing a very important role, because podcasts like this, social media, Instagram, Twitter, etc., X, I mean. So these, allow people to follow whom they want. I think they get more unbiased viewpoints,
Right.
and they are much more aware than previously.
Right. So things are changing.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Moving on, let's talk about something which is like a hot topic in I think every sector right now, which is AI. So, what do you think? What are some of the sectors when it comes to India where we are actually leveraging the power of AI, and what are some of the sectors where we need to, but we are not as much able to?
See, AI, I think, is now being felt in all the sectors.
Right.
I think first at a high level, the government is, I think, very well seized now of all the technology issues. If you see also India's development, we've grown so fast, up the ladder, fourth largest economy, all our GDP growing, because we have leveraged technology very well.
Okay.
Our digital public infrastructure, which we call in India, and our India stack, which is a layers of technology, they were very well thought out. Aadhaar means it has not happened randomly. This has all happened by careful design. So the first layer was Aadhaar, which you needed identity. Then you had the payments layer, UPI. Then you have DigiLocker. You have ONDC for digital commerce. So I think it's been well thought out. And again, we have leapfrogged most countries. Like I said, we are the number one digital payments country in the world. A lot of countries, if you know, we have now licensing and using our UPI technology. So in technology, ISRO, on my cover, we have a photo of ISRO, which is in fact the Chandrayaan 3 mission. So this is showing in space technology. So I think India is very interesting, because in the most cutting edge technologies, we have leapfrogged ahead. Even in mobile phone technology, we have a fully Indian designed made technology for 5G.
Right.
It's the fastest rollout in the world of 5G technology. So this is happening. So similarly in AI, we are already working on a number of things, including in that, AI requires a lot of computing power, which is chips. As you've been realizing, it's now, again, with all these global trade wars, all of these things, everyone is trying to safeguard their interests. So India has moved very fast to try and ramp up semiconductor manufacturing in India. In many regions, semiconductor manufacturing companies and units are being set up. So we are moving fast. AI also, a lot of work is happening. Obviously, it's coming also lots from the private sector. I think it's impacting all sectors. There is no doubt in my mind.
Okay.
One big sector that is going to come in, and I feel it should come in, is governance.
Okay.
We brought e-governance. A lot of things have gone digital today. Maybe at a city level also you can log some problems on some app or online. But I think once we get AI into that, a lot of the simple things would not need, some bureaucrat sitting and taking those decisions. So that would help a lot. And one other thing I would just like to add on this technology is I'm especially, very positive about this because not only has India demonstrated we can be at the cutting edge of technology, I find that technology brings exponential non-linear changes. So what I mean is that, other sectors, we as human beings are conditioned to think our mind linearly, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somehow our mind is not hardwired to think exponentially, which is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So technology allows India not only to leapfrog, but it can bring about development and boosts to our GDP or these per capita numbers that are sudden and exponential. So, like a step change, something big like UPI has impacted lots and lots of things. So that's
that
what
our technology holds.
So, whatever computation we may do, I may do, what we can't compute and predict is what these kind of new technologies and disruptions will bring, all positively for us.
So I think technology-wise, we are going strong, as you mentioned. Of course, there must be certain areas even there where we need improvement, which we will, I'm sure, with time. Moving on to one more like very central figure when it comes to a nation's development is sustainability. And I think this is one thing that I also feel very passionately about. So how do you think India is taking sustainability, um, and how is it like trying to blend sustainability with development with technology for India?
Yeah. So this is also a great question,
Yeah.
Nupurji. I think this has been central to the government's thought process. If I just step back and say, if you look at the we're a developing country trying to become a developed country. The already developed countries, especially the Western ones and China, if you see, when they pushed ahead and had rapid economic growth driven largely by industrialization, there was no concern for the environment. The emissions, etc., were just, whatever they wanted to do. Now it's easy to have reached a position and preach. So India can ignore it. Like, you guys have done it, we can do it as well. Once we are rich enough and have reached our targets, then we will see. But what is amazing is we're not saying that. We can say it. We are saying we are going to take care of the environment even now. So we are the only one of the major countries that has already and is already meeting its Paris climate goals.
Okay.
We have a huge target of renewable energy. In fact, one thing I can easily tell today is that we had set a target of green energy production of 500 gigawatts by 2030, 2030. We have already achieved it just a few days ago. So we have achieved that target 5 years ahead of schedule. In another one thing I would like to say in this is that we are already, taking these steps. If you see per capita emission, so if I'm being graded on a developed nation status per capita income, then I must be allowed to quote per capita emission.
As well, yeah.
So in per capita emission, India is at something like 1.9 metric tons of CO2, while the global average, I'm not even talking about the developed countries and China, global average is 4.8 metric tons of CO2. So we are so much below a global average already. Then again, they want to change the goalpost, some Western countries, and say, no, but you're such a large population. So look at the total. But that's not fair. If my developed nation metric is per capita, then even I should be allowed to tell this, and which is fair. If we have 1.4 billion people, we have. So the per capita, emission is still quite low.
Because why I ask this question is, of course, the way that you have explained, it feels like we are going good. But every year, because I stay in Delhi, and every year, the AQI, it's always in news for being very poor. So, and especially when we compare it with other developed nations as well, their AQI seems to be like very nice. They seem to be breathing very good air as compared to us. So, it's like, how do you see this?
These are more in pockets, and these are more urban, I would say, problems.
Okay.
So, they're in certain cities.
Hmm.
It's a result of our urbanization. Delhi, it's a controversial topic. I won't go too deep because you would know it more than me. But I think the factors are much beyond normal air pollution. It comes from stubble burning, etc., which is a contentious issue, which states are doing it and they don't want to change that and things like that. So Delhi is a little unique problem. Also, I think it is compounded because of when it happens. I think your stubble burning coincides with when it's getting cold,
Yeah.
air is denser, and that fogginess. I think that's a unique little problem to Delhi. But
Okay.
in general, AQI levels would be high in urban areas, Bengaluru, etc. So
Okay.
those are urban issues, not generic for India, but those, I think, the steps being taken, what I see happening at least at a corporation level at cities is increased EV buses, pushing for little of more EVs to come onto the city roads, because that local urban things solutions have to be found again at that local level. Obviously, we should do a lot more, but
maybe because when it comes to news and social media news, etc., the urban cities, perhaps like cities like Delhi, they are more in news, so we
Yeah.
feel that okay, this is what is happening in India. And I don't know if you read that news or not. I won't take any names, but there's this famous podcaster from somewhere abroad. He had come for a podcast in India, but in between he left like the podcast, I think approximately half hour or so. Why? Because he didn't like the air that he was breathing here. So that was in news as well. Yeah, so that's why.
I think it's a bit unfair if you ask me. I also travel a lot around the world. There are many cities with extremely poor AQI. We've all read, I have to experienced also these scary sights in Beijing and things like that.
Okay.
Air is bad. So it's not only I'm not saying that defending what it is. Like I said at the start, we have to work hard.
Right.
It's very important for the health, well-being of people. That's also our Viksit Bharat. Like I said, some quality of life, etc. So that needs to be tackled. But to just paint it as a problem only in India is very, very unfair.
Okay. All right. Okay. So moving on from the sustainability part, so I think in your book you have mentioned that by 2047 India's vision is to be a $30 trillion economy, is it?
Right.
Yeah. So of course with this sort of vision, and I think in the beginning of this podcast also you mentioned that we'll especially Narendra Modi ji's mission is that even the last man should be able to feel that Viksit Bharat.
Right.
The question is that do you see with this sort of vision that urban rural economy divide might increase, or the policies are such that it won't, and there'll be some equality as well?
See, typically in if you study the already developed countries, income disparity is an issue. It's somehow happening. The rich have grown very rich. It's also because of industry, technology, a lot of issues. It does exist.
Okay.
However, like from beginning, the vision is that how do you reduce both income and regional disparities. So our vision is different. Obviously, a lot of work, and this will happen by having growth everywhere. You don't want to reduce the income disparity by not allowing the rich to make money, be entrepreneurial, and generate all that. But you want everyone pushed up. So I think our vision is definitely different. And I'm hoping that with the right skill sets, skilling, more productivity, so even at the agricultural level, the ideas are there to boost productivity. So these things will help put more income in the hands of the lower income groups and push up their wealth as well.
Now, though I feel even when it comes to sectors like agriculture and all, we are leveraging AI, we are leveraging technology,
Right.
so that it just doesn't remain a sector devoid of technology and
Exactly.
AI, etc. Yeah, it's a very data-driven sector for
Right.
us now, which it should be, I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So moving on to yet another question, which is about job creation.
Mhm.
Because if India needs to develop at this pace, which is the vision, I'm sure many more jobs needs to be created. So, what do you feel? What are the sectors which are perhaps lacking right now when it comes to, or which has a scope of more job creation for the youth, for the nation?
See, I think again, with a large population, we have this huge demographic dividend as well. That we are the one of the major countries with the lowest, median age population. Today, India's median age is about 29.
Okay.
So with this great demographic dividend also comes great, responsibility and challenges. How do we get them? So I think one of the important things is also skilling. You need to up the skill level to 21st century relevant skills, industry relevant skills. There are important programs being run at a large scale like Skills India. All these things are happening, but it lots more needs to be done, I think, at the school and college level. Because I think children need to be inculcated with 21st century skill set right from, I think, a school level. So that is one for sure. The other thing is, we are already doing great manufacturing push. Manufacturing sector along with services sector in India is growing rapidly. This does need a large amount of, generates huge amount of employment. So that's all great. The great push being happening in manufacturing. Make in India, production linked incentives. So manufacturing is also a great employment generator. And, it also has a cascading effect. You have ancillary units. So these things are happening. Infrastructure is a great place. We are spending a record amount of money and percentage of our GDP on infrastructure development, which we are all enjoying. I see this even in Noida, the amount of flyovers, all that. Sometimes it's confusing. I don't think you can navigate so many flyovers without Google Maps anymore, but it's wonderful to see.
Right.
I see the massive change because I live in Pune. I keep traveling to Mumbai. Mumbai has transformed. The infrastructure is world class. So, the infrastructure is also a great place for employment generation.
Right.
So I think things are happening, Nupurji, but I think again, just with speed, scale of India, everything needs to be increased the speed and scale of everything that we are doing. It just needs to be scaled up.
Right. Okay. So you do see job creation, lot more job creation in the coming years, is it?
I do, because most of the things India is quite a diverse country, even in terms of, the sectors that we are involved in. It's not like just manufacturing driven or services driven, etc. We have everything here.
We have everything, yeah.
Agriculture and manufacturing and services and all of this stuff happening. So I think we have all this. It just needs to be driven. There's talk about AI disrupting, but I think again it's a skilling issue. Certain places it may, have a job loss because of AI's impact, but I think there are many other things where there'll be job creation as well.
Okay. Now there's this one word which is like the middle income trap. Okay. So first of all, what is it and how can India avoid the middle income trap?
This, if I'm not mistaken, this again it's like a Western phraseology. I don't think I've ever used it in my book, but I just don't buy it. It's like saying that you'll get stuck in your growth somewhere midway. I think we have just started our path of high growth.
Okay.
It's well known. I think this is called the Goldilocks period.
Okay.
Where, if you know our children's story, Goldilocks tried porridges. One was too hot, one was too cold, and one was just the right temperature. So they say when you have certain ingredients perfectly lined up, it's the Goldilocks period.
Okay.
So I think India is entered its Goldilocks period,
Hmm.
where we have good growth rate
Hmm.
along with low inflation. Just recently our inflation rate is now at 2.1%. It's very low. And we have good growth rate as well, about 6.5% growth rate happening. So I think we have just come into a Goldilocks period, and this is despite global volatility and global uncertainty. So again, I'm a positive thinker. So I don't think this applies to us.
Okay.
Provided obviously that we keep up the keep the wheels hands steady on the wheel,
Yeah.
keep up whatever we are doing, keep up the pace of reforms. So I think the targets that are set, what I have talked about, a 30 plus trillion economy and a per capita income of about $18,000 plus. In one section, in fact, I've called it the mathematics of these numbers. So people don't realize, I've tried to show it with simple mathematics, that how did this numbers I arrive at? And then are the underlying assumptions accurate? So the analogy I like to give, it's like say a T20 cricket match. So basically in that section, what I've tried to show is that the growth rate required is quite reasonable. So it means to win the match, we have a reasonable run rate that is required.
Right.
Again, we should not do something, suddenly lose all our wickets by doing something risky and out of the, ordinary.
Yeah.
If we keep the hand steady on the wheel, keep up with the reforms we are doing, we'll achieve it. It's not like we need 20, 30 runs and over to win the match, which would be an unreasonable kind of projections or assumptions.
Right. Okay. So, in this book also, you have, of course, talked in detail with a lot of data, and especially from 2014, what has been happening in India. So, if I talk about our current government right now, what do you think? Of course, in the book, there are so many things that you've mentioned, but for the podcast, what do you think, let's say, are three or five the most powerful or most surprisingly good things that have been achieved by the current government since 2014?
So, one I would say is infrastructure.
Okay.
The huge emphasis and huge increase in spending and budget outlay on infrastructure. It's very important because of the two reasons. One is that infrastructure positively impacts all sectors. So if you have good infrastructure, manufacturing does well, services does well. So it impacts nearly everything.
Right.
The other thing is, each rupee spent on infrastructure has at least a 4 to 5x multiplier effect in the rest of the economy. So that is important, and I think that's what they are doing well.
Okay.
That is no doubt in my mind.
Okay.
The other thing I would think is all the digital stuff. So this digital public infrastructure, DBT, direct benefit transfer, all these are a result of the digital public infrastructure. We are able to give money to people in their hands without leakages. Again, the scale of what has happened is mind-boggling. If I'm not mistaken, DBT till date has been to the tune of 48 lakh crores. So, these numbers are
Huge.
staggering.
Yeah.
So I think that has also been one of the great achievements.
Okay.
The other thing I feel is all this of Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, because this is all I'm rolling into one. Recently, we've seen even with defense production, we are doing this in-house in India. We are now exporting defense equipment outside the country. We've seen the prowess of our technology in the recently concluded Operation Sindoor. We've seen that. So our technology, our manufacturing in that. And within this entire manufacturing umbrella, also the production-linked incentives, the PLIs, which have been a game changer. Even that is surprising always to me when I study one case analysis there is of mobile phone manufacturing. Within a few years, people don't realize India is today the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturer.
Wow.
So it is just massive.
Massive.
And this has all come out because of such kind of PLI incentives, all these things.
Right. I think the next part of this question would be a little difficult for you to answer,
Sure.
which would be what, as per you, did not go so well, or could have gone better if I talk about the current government?
Uh, quite honestly, Nupurji, very difficult for me to pinpoint as such one thing. I'm actually thinking in my head as I'm talking, but difficult to think one specific thing that would pop out, because it would need to be something that's probably really gone wrong.
Right. No, not really gone wrong also, but perhaps, could have gone a little better.
I
Or
don't know.
wasn't given as much importance, perhaps. Nothing.
It's difficult. Maybe one thing I would say, again, it's slightly controversial, but I'll still say it. I think, this farm laws would have really benefited even the farmers, tremendously. Lot of, there was a lot of bias around it, a lot of polarization, a lot of, politics around it. But I think the intention and what the outcome would have been, what the government tried to do with the 3 farm laws, would have boosted our GDP significantly and also benefited the farmers, right? And especially the small marginalized farmers,
Right.
it would have benefited. I don't know why there was so much unnecessary politics, opposition around it. But if that had been implemented and pushed ahead, I think we would have seen a lot of benefits.
All right. How do you think our opposition is doing right now when it comes to development, like development mindset, and just aligning with the government on the right matters? How do you think is it happening?
I'm also probably kind of viewing this with as much information as you have, what you see here on the media, social media, etc. So I think it's becoming not, I would say, taking a stand based on actual issues. I think it has become a bit agenda driven.
All right.
That we have to oppose everything for the sake of opposition, rather than talk about something specific and give some concrete kind of suggestions.
Okay.
One could say that I don't agree everything you do, but I would suggest you change this a little to this. But
Right.
where do we see that happening? As we are sitting in Delhi, it's a monsoon session of parliament and it's getting disrupted for no reason, if you actually see it and think about it. So it concerns me, even as an average citizen, that, we must allow parliament to run and, take, debate things and take decisions for the benefit of citizens.
Right.
So this opposition disruption is really not helpful. How's it helping anyone?
Right. And I think the beauty of democracy is that you have a strong opposition where they can actually like create opposition on the matters that are really important for the nation, and
Right.
really align well on the matters again which are right and right for the nation. But I don't, as you mentioned, see that happening a lot
Yes.
in India. Yeah. Okay. So coming back to the book and the vision that we have for India in 2047, what do you think are perhaps some of the very immediate steps, actions, or policies which must be implemented, let's say this year or in the coming year, for us to keep on track with the vision and with the goal that we have for 2047?
So, you'll think I'm continuously harping on the same thing. So I think infrastructure push
Okay.
is absolutely critical. The other thing is, I think, strong implementation push for, skilling.
Okay.
That's very important. Third is also education.
Okay.
I have always been academically oriented, so I think deeply, and this is a topic that's close to my heart. Because, I think these are formative years for children, at a school level, and giving them the right education and value system is absolutely critical. So, NEP is a right step, National Education Policy is a right step, is a good large step in the right direction. Along with that, the Indian knowledge system, IKS, that they've introduced, this needs to be, again, there's a lot of unnecessary, in my viewpoint, politics and opposition around it. Allow it to be pushed, allow it to be implemented. It's a right step. One can always course correct. I always believe, because I'm from a corporate background, a corporate person doesn't have the time to kind of delay decision making. They don't have that. They have to take decisions based on the information and the environment today. But you can always course correct. You can always change that, add something to it, subtract something to it, but you have to keep walking. So I say similarly, NEP is the right steps. Take the step. Maybe tomorrow you'll add something, subtract something, but we must kind of continue in that journey.
All right, all right. Okay, so these are some of the immediate actions or policies where
Right.
we can focus on. Okay. So when you said education, there's one more thing that I wanted to point out. How do you feel about the curriculum that we have? Like, one is obviously right to education, but what about the curriculum? Is it because, if I'm not wrong, the curriculum has been there since the Britishers' time, and we are still continuing with that,
Right.
right? So some changes there are needed, do you think?
So definitely,
Hmm.
that is definitely needed, and I think NEP is trying to do some of that.
Okay.
But I think a lot more, modernization must happen, especially in the, I think in the STEM side, where we can have a lot more new technology. So I'm not limiting my answer only to school level. I'm even, because I see that closely, I'm also on the founder board of a university here in NCR called Rishihood University.
Okay.
So they're India's first impact university and trying to inculcate a sense of nation building in the students, along with giving them a education that will make them employable. They are trying to inculcate this. So I really liked their vision, their philosophy. So I'm involved and helping them. So even at a university or college level, one has to up what we are teaching, especially on STEM, science, technology, mathematics, and again modernize it, 21st century industry related. So these things are also very important.
All right. Okay. Okay. ठीक है. Now there's this one question in my mind, because which is not from the book, but as you had mentioned, you do take some interest in politics. So if I talk about India from 1947 till perhaps 2025, what are, let's say, three of your favorite politicians so far, and why? Like,
Oh, it's okay. So I think, first start with Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
okay.
He was the Iron Man of India. So whatever I've read, etc., I've always been extremely impressed.
Okay.
And I'm glad that his legacy is being talked about now, and he's being given due credit. The other person is Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. A lot of things that we did during his tenure were a landmark and were historical.
Right. Right.
He himself was a very impressive, I was still young then, but impressive person.
Yeah.
His oratory, his poetry. So something about him was always, special for me.
Yeah.
And I think now, as you might know very well, obviously, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
his style, governance, very target oriented, extremely committed to, where the nation is going. So presently, I think there's no one else close to him.
Wow. Okay. I think, yeah, I completely agree with these three names. And I don't know, I just have two other names apart from these in my mind, which is, one is Indira Gandhi, and the second is Yogi ji. I just have these.
Is that something because we are sitting presently in UP?
No, because I belong from UP, so of course UP is close to my heart. And I mean, as I was talking off camera also, Yogi ji, I have huge respect for him. Yeah, so
No, it's a good observation, Nupurji, because
Yeah.
in fact, I have also had the privilege of meeting Yogi ji last year. And he is extremely impressive.
Yeah.
And then the work speaks for itself.
Right.
So I've also traveled extensively in UP.
Right.
And you can see the changes that have happened: infrastructure, law and order, the amount of development happening. And I have a lot of friends in the business circles, and I don't know the before story really.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever went to UP earlier. but they tell me the huge changes that have happened just in a few years. In fact, incidentally, on one of my chapters on good governance, I give two case studies.
Okay.
One is Maharashtra because I live there and I know it more deeply, but the other is about UP.
Okay.
So what I observed, I thought I even wrote an article that got published during one of my visits to UP. But I wrote that as a case study in good governance.
Wow. Yeah, I think for sure. Because it's feel like just in a matter of 5 to 6 years, the face of UP has changed quite a
Right.
bit.
Right.
And I'm sure there's still a lot more that will happen in the coming years. So yeah. Okay. Moving on. Okay. So let's say to someone who has not yet read the book or heard about the book, why should anyone be reading this book?
Uh, I think every citizen of Bharat should be reading this book because it is our story of our nation and where we are headed. Also, because I mentioned it's a positive narrative, so I'm showing them that this is a target that is achievable. So, we must all kind of gather around this vision and work towards it. It's also a call to action to get everyone involved in a very simple manner. So I think that's another reason they should read it. Third is I'd mentioned earlier as well, once India reaches these targets, we'll have a prosperity that we have not seen. So this is really kind of what we are leaving behind it's our legacy, our present generation's legacy that we'll be leaving behind for our children and our children's children. So how can, any citizen not be interested in that?
Right. Okay. I mean, that's a very good reason for anyone
Yeah.
to actually pick up the book and go through it. And even personally, I have read this book, not completely though, but it's because honestly, when I just had a look, I was like, "बहुत बड़ी किताब है, पता नहीं कैसे पढ़ी जाएगी." But when I started reading, it's written in a very simple language, very interesting language, a lot of datas, but the way that the book is structured is like very readable.
Right.
You can just go to a chapter of your liking as well, a topic of your liking as well. Just read the chapter and you'll have so much of information from that.
Thank you.
So
That's
okay.
good feedback, and I'm really thankful to you.
Okay. But before closing the podcast, now that this book has been written and you have done this, is there any sequel of it as well that you're planning, or what's next?
I don't know, for me, recently, I was mentioning to you earlier as well, I've written a lot of articles over the last 1 year. Incidentally, I had done a book last year, which was my first book as a co-author along with Tuhin Sinha. This was called Modi's Northeast Story. We documented the development and transformation of Northeast India. So it was a specialized topic. That definitely got me interested in, writing books. I've also written a lot of articles. This was really a labor of love and a passion project for me. I find writing now very, in a sense, meditative and relaxing. When there are thoughts in my head, if I put them down on paper, I find it very relaxing and, very rewarding as well. So I have actually a couple of ideas in my head, which I'm not discussing too much.
Okay.
Otherwise I think everyone in my family will run off. I spent so much time with this book. So on a lighter note, but so I'm not trying to say I'm going to start working on something new immediately.
Okay.
But I do have a couple of ideas. And maybe, if when the time is right, I'll start work on that.
Okay. All right. Okay. So before wrapping up the podcast, what's that one message that you'd like to give to anyone who's listening to us?
So I think really a final message would be that we can and will achieve our dream of Viksit Bharat and come be a part of it. Come get involved, get involved in nation building. And, then I think I'll use one final quote by Honorable Prime Minister. Yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai, desh ka anmol samay hai. This really, I think, sums it up.
Sums it up. Right, right. Wow. That is very beautiful. And I think it's a very beautiful wrapping up of a podcast as well. Because, especially as you mentioned, the median age in India is 29. So it's like
Right.
all the youths out there, what are you doing with your lives? Like, this is something that you should be contributing to. And wow, very well said.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, Aditya ji, for joining us today.
Thank you.
A very incredible podcast and a very, very amazing, incredible
so
book.
much.
I do hope it reaches out to as many people as possible.
you. Thank you. It was great fun and very interesting to do this.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And